everyone, Alex the Rat here again. And today we are taking a look at this. This is my Dell Optiplex computer. There is an interesting history behind this computer. So the place I work at, we found a bunch of old computers that we weren't gonna use for anything. So I did test them, and this was the only one that would actually boot into Windows. So those others were just probably gonna be not worth the investment of time and money to restore. I messaged the one in charge of our tech basically and asked, hey, we are not using this computer. This is an old Windows XP computer, you know, we aren't going to use it for anything. So can I have it? You know, just throwing it out there. I was going to pay for it if they did want to sell it, but they said, sure, just take it. So yeah, I got this one entirely for free, no cost. Now I did have to do some things with it when I got it. I did clean it out a bit. Just basically blowing some air into it and getting some dust out. It is remarkably clean, and I think that's because it has been used very sparingly. Yeah, I didn't really have to do much to, you know, get it looking nice. I might clean it up a bit later, but I'm not really bothered by it looking mint or anything. Like, as long as there's no dust in there, I'm perfectly happy with that. Another thing I did was swap the CMOS battery, because the one that was in there was dead. I got that CMOS battery warning when I first turned it on, so I knew I had to swap the CMOS battery. So yeah, other than that, it seems fine. One thing that happened when I first was using it was that the hard drive crashed while I was playing something. I was actually planning on upgrading the hard drive anyway, so the hard drive dying wasn't a huge issue. So I upgraded from 160 gigabytes to a 1 terabyte drive and higher storage capacity and all. Because something that I figured out was that Windows XP actually supports up to 2 terabytes of storage, which surprised me. But yeah, apparently you can install a modern 1 terabyte drive into this and it'll work fine as long as you set the BIOS correctly. What I want to do with this computer is upgrade it a bit. Because right now it only has an integrated GPU. You know, for what it was used for, the integrated GPU was fine, but since I'm going to use this for gaming, I do want to upgrade the GPU. Now the issue with that is that this particular form factor is called a slim form factor. It can't take regular PCI expansion cards. You actually need a low profile card to put into this, because otherwise it just won't fit. That was one of the challenges I had to face when upgrading this. But I did find a GPU. We're gonna install this, which is an AMD, or ATI rather, ATI Radeon 2400 HD card. So we're gonna install that. And another upgrade I also want to do is install a proper floppy drive in this, because right now I'm using this USB floppy drive, but there is actually a spot for a floppy drive in here. And I think it would look much cooler if I had an actual floppy drive on the front here. Because right now all there is just a blackened plate, and having an actual floppy drive there would just look neat, I think. And I just love floppies. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna open this up and install this card and the floppy drive. Yeah, let's get to it. So obviously this card needs to go out because it's occupying the PCI Express slot. And yeah, just like opening the computer, there's no screws needed to remove or replace cards here. So we're just gonna get it out like that. And that's all you need to do. I don't think this is an actual graphics card. Like this is just a DVI port for basically giving you another or a better graphics option, I think. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to use this card for. I'm probably just going to keep it around. So now we just take our AMD card. put it. And it should be that easy. Secure it, and that's it. Installing the floppy drive is going to be a bit more complicated because we need to get under this whole assembly here. So yeah, we need to take out all of this. Okay, so I haven't been able to get this floppy drive connected because this is actually a slimline floppy drive, so it needs a very specific cable that I don't have. The one I ordered is for a regular floppy drive, so yeah, I'm gonna have to order that from eBay and wait for that. So I might do a follow-up video on that. I don't know, we'll see. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing, because it is unusual putting a floppy drive in this. Like, normally people wouldn't bother with that, so yeah, I think it would be cool. So, I mean, I do have one, so putting it, like, not putting it in would be a waste. So, yeah. For now, I'm gonna focus on the GPU. Like, that's just gonna be the focus, I guess. Alright. The first game I started playing was Halo, and as you can see, on the integrated GPU it runs fine for the most part. When there's a lot of stuff happening, the frame rate drops drastically. Like, it really doesn't run optimally on the integrated GPU. Now, I was using the maximum settings, so if you lower the settings it would probably run better, but you would obviously sacrifice a lot of detail for that. So I think this is about representative of what the GPU can do without the upgrades. And yeah, after putting the new GPU in, we're getting a much better performance here. Even with the resolution cranked up a bit, the performance doesn't really tank that much. So I think the GPU really helps in making the game more playable and just looking better as well. Now obviously you get the best performance at 800 by 600, which is what I also ran the integrated GPU at. I think that is just the best resolution for this game, on this particular GPU anyway. There's obviously a lot more you can do to tweak the settings a bit and maybe get better performance at higher resolutions. I did not try to run the game at like HD resolution. I don't think the GPU is powerful enough for that. I think it could, but the performance would probably really suffer from that. So yeah, sticking to a 4:3 resolution like 800 by 600 seems to be the way to go for the best performance in this game. Now, a game that had no problem running on the integrated GPU was Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun. A 2D game like this definitely has no issue running on the integrated GPUs. Like, this is something you could easily play without doing an upgrade. Now, obviously, we had to try Unreal Tournament 2004, and yeah, just cranking all the graphical options to the max here, just to see what the integrated GPU can do when fully maxed out. The game is running at 800 by 600 on the integrated GPU here, and yeah, it's similar to Halo, where on the first map here, we're getting mostly pretty decent performance. It's not that bad, honestly, like, this is perfectly tolerable, but when we get to some of the later stages, the performance did tank considerably, so it all depends on the map and how much is going on. It's similar to Halo, like, the more particles and stuff, like, the more the GPU has to work with, the more the performance will suffer. So yeah, this obviously benefits from a better GPU as well. Obviously you could turn down the graphics settings to make it run better on the integrated GPU, and that would be acceptable if you wanted to play some Unreal Tournament matches. But yeah, let's take a look at how this runs on the upgraded GPU. So on the upgraded GPU, we have the resolution cranked up a bit to 1024 by 768, and the performance is just
impeccable. Like, this is all running maxed out and it has no problem running the game optimally. So obviously this card is really good for games like this, where you really need the performance and maybe want it to look nice as well. A game that I actually wanted an upgraded GPU for was Elder Scrolls Oblivion, because this game barely runs on the integrated GPU, like it was struggling to even run it on the lowest possible settings. So with the extra power of the GPU in there, yeah, this runs very well. And we even have it pretty high in terms of graphics settings here, and interior, no issue. Like, it just runs and plays very smoothly and looks really good. Especially with all the shadow options, like, the lighting in this game is very good for its time. Now, my earliest memories of this game are a bit hazy. I don't remember if we actually cranked up the graphics settings this far, but playing this on what would be a very typical GPU of the time feels limiting, but also impressive at the same time, because, yeah, this game looks really good on this GPU, and I'm very happy with how it looks and runs. So yeah, getting into the open area here, the exterior, you can see the frame rate drop a little, but it's still perfectly acceptable in my opinion. Like, this isn't super high or anything, it's probably around the 30 or 40 mark, I would guess. I didn't install fraps or anything, so I don't have any solid numbers on the frame rate here, but I mean, it's perfectly fine to me. I would gladly play the game like this. As you can see, when it's loading, you can see the frame rate dip a little, but absolutely no issue running the game on very high settings here.
So that about wraps it up. I'm really happy with this computer, especially since I got it for free. I mean, that's not common at all, and I know I was lucky there, but I'm very grateful that I was just given this machine to keep using it and give it a new life. So yeah, upgrading it with that graphics card was definitely a good idea. It's not gonna be on par with anything like modern, but up to a certain point it will be very good for XP gaming. And that's what I wanted to use it for. Like, this is just a 2000s era gaming machine. It's not gonna be for anything past 2008 or something. But yeah, that wraps it up. I'm very happy with this upgrade, and yeah, stay tuned for when we upgrade this with a floppy drive. Though I don't know if that's more of a side grade than an upgrade. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and if you want, leave a donation on PayPal, there's a link in the description below. And as always, take care.